In the chamber before you are several orcs sharpening their axes. Lining the walls are sputtering torches, casting flickering light.
Hold on! A stealth!
Yeah.
22!
19.
Oh yes, I'm going to cast a spell.
I'm going to wild shape into a chipmunk and sneak off down the corridor. I want to explore the next room over.
I'm just gonna go yell into the orcs and say hi, announcing our presence.
Why would you do that? You know we're trying to sneak in there.
Hey, that's what my character would do!
Okay, the kobold calls out to the orcs.
Oh, hi.
They greet you.
You almost be the mercenaries the boss hired.
Nope, we're just here to kill you.
Oh, come on. Why do you gotta ruin things? You know, we could have had them take us straight to the big bad.
What do Fat Cat and I find in the next room over?
More orcs. They see a kitty cat and a squirrel, think dinner has been delivered to them, and begin chasing you.
Okay, we run back to the rest of the group, the orcs in tow.
Oh, come on! Did you really have to go wake up another mob for us to fight?
You all find yourself caught between two groups of orcs, intent on extreme violence and murder.
Hey, Mr. Wizard! This would be a good time for that fireball! Mr. Wizard? Mr. Wizard? Holy crap! We're screwed!
Welcome to the DM Lair. I'm Lucar, and I've been a Dungeon Master since high school. On this channel, I give practical Dungeon Master advice that you can implement at your game table. Today in the Lair, we're going to talk about how to be a good Dungeons & Dragons player. In fact, these 8 tips can probably be applied to pretty much any role-playing game, not just D&D. So, Game Masters, if you need to, feel free to share this video with your players in a completely non-passive-aggressive sort of way. And these pieces of advice are for players from the point of view of Dungeon Masters. So, players, imagine that your Dungeon Master is on their deathbed, and the advice here is their last dying words for you to be a better D&D player. That got dark really quick. I guess there's gonna be another one of those videos. Oh, and speaking of dark, if you want to watch me make a fool out of myself, follow me over on Twitter, where I have live streams on Mondays and Wednesdays. Not only can you make me do push-ups, dance live on stream, and even sing, but you can ask me questions and even watch me play in D&D. Okay, now on to how to be a good player. Number 1, know what your character can do. Holy crap, I love wizards and sorcerers and warlocks and clerics and all the spellcaster types to death. However, what Dungeon Masters cannot stand, dear players, is when you roll into a game session and have no idea how your character works. Please, read the player handbook outside of game sessions. Come on, you have one thing to do. To play in the game, to just run your character. That's all you gotta do, just run your character. Please, read the book and figure out how to do that. You don't have to run a multitude of NPCs with various backgrounds and personalities. You don't need to have all the information about a city and its many available services ready to go. You don't even need to run hundreds of monsters and creatures to use varying combat tactics. No, you've got one thing to do. So, when you come to the table and bog down the entire game because you were too dang lazy to at least read up on what your character can do, yeah, that's probably going to annoy a few folks, Dungeon Master included. Don't make everyone wait for you during the game because you don't know what your own character can do. Along the same vein, be prepared on your turns in combat. This means looking things up on others' turns. And this applies to all classes, not just spellcasters, even though they do tend to be the worst at this. Oh, and here's a bonus tip for you. Don't misrepresent what your character can do. I cannot tell you how much this annoys me. I had a player once who always misrepresented what his PC could do. He would always conveniently overlook the limitations and fine print of what his character's abilities were. And so, I had to double check pretty much everything he did in the game. I cannot tell you how glad I am that he is no longer in the group. Like seriously. Whew, much better game. Number 2, declare actions instead of yelling out game mechanics. The game mechanics are the tool of the Dungeon Master to adjudicate the game. Players, your job is to roleplay. The Dungeon Master's job is to adjudicate. So instead of saying, I'd like to roll a deception check on the guard, how about you tell your Dungeon Master what your player is actually doing? Roleplay it, because this is a role-playing game.
I try to convince the guard that the king himself sent us to the cemetery to retrieve the barbarian's body.
Excellent. please give me a deception check. Not only does this improve your role-playing as a player, but it improves the Dungeon Master's adjudication. You see, the better the DM understands the details of what your character is attempting to do, the better they will be able to resolve that action. And be creative. Good game masters will listen to your creative ideas and work with you as long as it's not outside the realm of possibilities. And then they will tell you what role is needed to attempt your crazy, wacky idea. Oh, and here's a pro tip for role players. Don't roll dice before being asked to. I mean, unless of course you're attacking in combat and doing damage. Let's not be twits, right? But if you just randomly make a die roll and then declare to the Dungeon Master after the roll what you just attempted to do, and the result of the die, yeah, there is a special place in the Nine Hells for players who do this, and if you're not sure why, ask me about this in a live stream and brace yourself for a rant. Number 3, respect the game master and other players. Players, please, don't throw tantrums when things don't go your way. Failure is a state of the game, and sometimes it will happen to your precious character. So, instead of acting like a child, how about you, I don't know, roleplay those failures. Turn your failure into a fun game moment that everyone will remember and laugh about for years to come. And please, for the love of all that is holy, don't argue with the game master over rules. It's okay to state your case and why you think something should be a certain way. But once the GM has made a ruling, let it go and move on. And if you have a true, genuine issue with the Dungeon Master or other players, address those issues outside the game whenever possible. Don't derail the game to quibble over a minor detail. Dude, seriously, everyone showed up at the table to play a game and have fun, not argue over some edge case rule that you just won't let go. Oh, and here's a good one on the topic of respect. Don't constantly interrupt others. Wait your turn. Let other people have table time too and share in the spotlight. Look, if your Dungeon Master doesn't completely suck, they'll make sure everyone has a chance to talk and participate in the game. And if they don't, well, see my previous point about addressing issues and concerns outside the game. Show up on time for the game. Being late is a massive sign that you don't respect other people's time. Figure your crap out, be a responsible human being. And if you're gonna miss an entire game session, let the Dungeon Master and other players know as far in advance as possible. Don't just not show up. I deal very seriously with no call, no shows. Like, after a couple of these, you're just not gonna be in the game anymore. I'm going to find another player who will actually show up and, also communicate with the group. Take notes and remember NPC names, places, and things that are happening. The Dungeon Master took time to prepare the game for you. Honor that. Also, be considerate of your Dungeon Master's time. Things like rolling up new PCs every 2 game sessions, creating insanely long backstories that take forever to read, constantly sending your DM completely broken homebrew things you find on Reddit. Yeah, Dungeon Master's got a lot going on, so please, be considerate of their time. Pay attention to what's going on. Do not waste people's time by being on your phone, missing what happened, and then asking for a recap because you weren't paying attention. This kind of crap annoys Dungeon Masters, and other players for that matter, to no end. Be better than that.
Hello there! This interruption to your normally scheduled programming is brought to you by the spirit of the dead barbarian, whose presence will never again grace these videos. On behalf of the barbarian, I would like to thank some very special people for their generous support of the channel. Aaron, Daniel B., Alexander, and Midnight Sky Games. Thank you for being so awesome. Click the link below if you'd like some more information about all the cool perks patrons get. You see, not only would you be helping support all the free D&D content we create for the community, but you'd also get some really cool additional benefits.
Number 4, work with the Game Master, not against them. For any fans of Critical Role out there, this is one of the big things that makes that show work. All of the players are cooperating with Mercer as he runs the game. They are not working against him. They are not, for instance, ignoring all of his plot hooks and wandering off across the game world and doing random stuff. No, instead the players are working with the Dungeon Master to collectively play the game and tell an amazing story. Oh, and on the subject of ignoring plot hooks, stop doing this! Like seriously, players, what is your problem? How would you feel if you told your Dungeon Master about the awesome character you made that you're super excited about, and the Dungeon Master is like, whatever, rocks fall, you die. Also, engage with the game world. Take initiative to do things such as following up on plot hooks. Don't just sit there like a lump expecting the dungeon master to make the game fun and interesting all by themselves. Oh, and this is pretty important too. Create a character that has a reason to be an adventurer and actually play the game. I in fact made an entire video ranting about players who don't do this, titled Dear D&D Player, Please Make an Adventurer. Link below if you're interested. Next, give the DM a heads up when your character has goals or things they would like to do so the DM can work that into the game. Don't just spring it on them in the middle of a game and make them improvise. The DM is on your side. Work with them and they'll work with you. And if they don't, you should probably get a new DM. Oh, and if you commit to doing something in the next game session, such as going on a particular quest, and the dungeon master prepares that thing, don't change your mind come the next game session. Finally, on the topic of working with the game master, overlook small mistakes from the GM. Roll with it. Don't quibble over every little thing. Only bring up the big mistakes or the reoccurring ones. This helps keep the game running smoothly. Number 5, play with the group. I'm gonna go wander off on my own, check things out, maybe head over to the next town over there. Cut this lone ranger crap out. You signed up for a group game. If you wanna wander off and do your own thing and ignore all the other players at the table, go play Skyrim or something. And please, don't try to make your PC the main character who always needs to be in the spotlight because they're super special snowflakes. No one cares about your snowflake, may they melt in the 9 hells. And stop backstabbing the other players' characters. Holy crap, there is an entire game world full of NPCs and monsters that you can screw over. Why are you doing this to the other players? What is going on in that twisted little mind of yours? Some people are gonna get upset by this. Cooperate with the dungeon master and any other players. Play the game with them, not against them. Help shape the group's story. Find ways to make the game fun for everyone else at the table too, not just for yourself. Number 6, roleplay a character with an actual personality. Start with a character concept first, not just some super cool OP build that you read about on Reddit, and then create personality, bonds, flaws, all that cool stuff, and use them to roleplay your character in the game. Furthermore, create a backstory that can help you roleplay your character even better. And if you need help creating a backstory, I have a free backstory template available on Drive-Thru-RPG that might help. Link below. Oh, and here's a pro tip for you. Don't write a book. A basic backstory, 1 page maximum, does the trick nicely. You need just enough information to inform your role-playing and give the dungeon master hooks to inform campaign development. And now, armed with a personality and a basic backstory, you have a character that you can actually roleplay and not just 3 pieces of paper listing PC game mechanics. Also, while roleplaying, don't be afraid to do less than optimal things. As long as you're not screwing the entire party over, see my previous points. And roleplay at all times in the game, especially during combat. Act out the taunts your fighter is throwing at the orcs. Roleplay the fear your rogue feels as she is caught hiding in the shadows. Gesture as your wizard casts whatever it is that the wizard is finally going to cast. The point is, all moments in the game are opportunities for roleplaying, not just the talky bits. And finally, please don't tell us how your character feels. Show us. Act it out. Roleplay. I can't put my finger on exactly why, but it is a pet peeve of mine when I'm in a game and I witness a player describing how their character is feeling. Like, why is this even a thing? Do people in the real world just go around randomly describing their thoughts and feelings to everyone around them? Am I missing out on something? I was in a game where the dungeon master asked all the players to go around the table and describe how their characters were feeling about the current situation. And each player in turn spent a few minutes discussing their feelings. And you know what? When it was my turn, I pretty much said this.
Yeah, I feel like it's time to keep moving through this dungeon and fight some stuff.
I'm not going to waste everyone's time describing how my character feels. I'm going to constantly be acting it out while we play the game. That's role-playing. My cat's over there. Meow. Squirty Pie, quiet down. Making a video. Number 7, erase the phrase, "That's what my character would do," from your vocabulary. Players, let's have a quick heart-to-heart. Being a total jackwad and screwing everybody over and then justifying it by saying,
"That's what my character would do,"
is infuriating. Instead of using this bullcrap excuse for being a wangrod, why don't you just be honest with yourself and everyone at the table? You're being a twit and prioritizing your fun over everyone else's. You take personal joy in screwing others over. You get your jollies from ruining the game for everyone else. So don't think for one moment that game masters and other players don't understand exactly exactly what you're doing. Grow up and become a mature human being. Number 8, communicate with the DM and other players. Give your dungeon master honest feedback so they can improve. Talk with them if there are issues before just bouncing and leaving the game. Speak with other players who are causing problems and try to work things out. Don't just leave it all to the game master and then get upset because they didn't solve the issue for the group. You are part of the group too. Take responsibility for the quality of your game experience and look for ways to improve it. Follow me over on Twitch for some chill live streams where I do push-ups, dance, and even exercise my wonderful singing voice. Let me know your biggest tip for being a good player. Next week, I'll be fleeing the country from a horde of angry players who are offended by this video. But until then, click right here to binge watch my Dungeon Mastering 101 playlist. And until next time, let's play D&D.
Oh, I got it! I cast Fireball!